Hey everybody, how y'all doing tonight? Looks like we having fun already in the comment section. Happy birthday, Linus. Happy birthday, Linus. Getting old, getting old, getting old, getting old like the rest of us. Fozzie, please dock my paycheck for being late. I appreciate it. Linus is from the future, so she's got a birthday on the 22nd, which is in a couple hours for the rest of us in the real world. Already happened over the Netherlands. They're early for us. They like to give us the heads up of what's about to come. Lena sent me a video one time. It was dark, and I was like, "Nope, sure isn't. It's daylight over here." Metal rules. It feels like an old folks' home. Sometime my back starts to hurt, and it just feels old. But I'd rather be old than young these days, so I'm good with that. Hey, Legal Fiction. Got Tori in here. Sean, KK, Nan, got Fozzie, Jay, LD, got Legal Fiction again and again. I got Itzel. So we're just gonna call her Melissa because I can't pronounce her username. So it's good to see you, Melissa. I think we're about ready to get started. I showed a little bit of drone footage I did earlier today. At the end of the video tonight, I'm going to at the end I'm going to play it out, Fozzie. So it's going to be what we play out too. I'm testing out YouTube also because it's got music in there that I don't think will trip. I don't think it'll trip the censors, but we're gonna give it a chance and see. And like I said, the worst thing that can happen is they don't monetize me, which means I just stay right where I'm at. So, all right, I've got Thurston County Judge Perkins, Judge Boyd, Judge Collier pro se. So the Judge Collier one's got bad audio, so I'm gonna play it second or third just to give it some, you let it build up some so everybody doesn't run off from the bad audio. So we're gonna jump in an old Boyd, Judge Boyd one that I really liked. Here we go.
Now we're ready on Kennedy. State, are you ready?
Your Honor, the state is ready.
All right, the court is going to call 2023 CR 4168, State of Texas versus James Michael Kennedy. And defense, if you all could move to that end. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Anton Hayek. What did you ask me to do, Jed?
No, I'm asking your name.
Anton Hayek. I thought
Yeah.
you told me to move one way.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Hayek, for the record, is representing Mr. Kennedy. And are you James Michael Kennedy?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea to the offense of assault intentionally knowing serious bodily injury of a child by omission. You entered a plea to a cap of 35 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
I've had a chance to review it. I've reviewed it with my client and given him an opportunity to read it at his own pace.
Okay. All right, any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any
No,
objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Mr. Kennedy, please.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
My name is James Michael Kennedy.
All right, counsel?
Mr. Kennedy, would you say this event with your daughter finding it out about cerebral palsy and having her removed from your presence because of lack of proper nutrition was a real eye opener to you?
It was.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, could everyone please whisper? And counsel, if you could speak up for me, please.
And during the first 10 years of Michelle's life, did you think there was anything unusual about her not being able to eat solid foods? Well, other than that, she probably should have.
Given her state with cerebral palsy, I didn't know.
And the primary caretaker, Michelle, was Norma, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you live with Norma, you're not married to her.
Yes, sir.
Did Norma ever have any complaints to you about something she wasn't allowed to do for Michelle?
No, sir.
And you've read the report and you're happy with Miss, I can't do her name, Sitsu, the foster mother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I read you the expert. Do you agree with what she wrote?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And do you want the best for your daughter?
I do, yes, sir.
And you've had a hearing in CPS court on Valentine's Day where you gave an affidavit of relinquishment of your parental rights?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. So do you feel sorry for what you either did or failed to do for your daughter?
At the time, I wasn't aware, but yes, I do.
Okay. So you realize the judge is probably gonna send you to prison.
Yes, I do.
Are you asking for something maybe in the 20-year range as opposed to 35?
I am asking for leniency.
Okay. No further questions. That's a prosecutor. You may want to ask you something.
All right, in just one moment, my email went down. I did have the PSI report up, but the PSI report has disappeared on my system. All right. Questions?
Yes, sir, just a few if I may. Mr. Kennedy, my name is Zach Dunn. I'm one of the prosecutors in the Family Violence Division. I should have a few questions for you, and some of it goes to your statements in the PSI, which is the report that the judge is looking at right now. You basically mentioned on kind of the last page of it that you really kind of didn't know or were unsure of the fact. You said you had ignorance of your daughter's condition. She was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at birth, though, correct?
I do not know.
With respect to her abilities, things she was able to do, did you notice any kind of comparison between her and other 10-year-olds?
Actually, comparison between her and when I was going through high school, I noticed that there was children that were similar.
And are you aware of how much she weighed as a 10-year-old when the police came to the residence for the first time?
I believe she was at 27 pounds, but I can't remember.
27 pounds as a 10-year-old. Does that seem normal to you or abnormal to you?
I do not know. I mean, when I remember how there were others that were her age, more or less even, and when I was going through high school, I saw that they were about her size.
You're saying when you went through high school personally,
When I went through high school,
you knew of 10-year-olds that were around 20 pounds in weight, or
we went to the kitchen cafeteria, and I saw others that were rolled around in wheelchairs that were about the same size.
and what did you make of the fact that Michelle, again, a 10-year-old, was unable to speak and barely even move when the police first interacted with her coming on scene? Is that normal behavior, you think, for a 10-year-old?
I think given that she had cerebral palsy, that it was normal.
And with respect to her diet, do you think it's appropriate to feed someone Oreos, milk, and Kool-Aid to sustain their life as a 10-year-old with cerebral palsy?
Michelle could not eat solid, so she couldn't even eat Oreos.
Okay, but at the time, does it surprise you, or is it surprising to hear now that y'all's statements at the time on scene was that, again, you fed her Kool-Aid, milk, and Oreos?
At that time, given that Numa was taken to her to the doctors, and that the doctors were aware of what was going on, I thought everything was okay. Given that now I know that it's not okay, because that could have all been avoided with the surgery of a G tube, gastrostomy tube.
You said you know about that now.
I do.
So if police had never come and CPS was never involved, what do you think the future of Michelle's life would look like? Again, at the time, she weighed 27 pounds as a 10-year-old. That was a few years ago.
Well, she did lose a lot of weight due to her being sick. It wasn't due to lack of us providing nutrition. It was due to her being sick that she lost weight.
No further questions, Ron.
All right,
That's
any
it, Sharon.
follow-up?
I'll follow up,
All right, may I
Right.
ask a question?
please.
All right, why was she never placed back in school?
When she was originally taken out of school due to the coronavirus.
All right, and then after
when
that?
We attempted to take her back to school. She could never keep the mask on. She would keep constantly pulling it off. And then they told her to no longer go back to school.
I'm sorry, what?
They told her not to go back to school until she could take care of that.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the trial court certification form. Just one second. I'll have it. All right, so you're saying that they didn't allow her to come back to school because she continued to pull off her mask.
Yes, ma'am.
And the offense date on this is 2023. So help me, in 2023, were students still required to wear a mask?
I do not know, Your Honor.
All right, so you didn't take her back to school in the year of 2023.
No, Your Honor.
And I read the PSI report, and it said that you had personal insurance.
I did. Oh, I did.
All right, so at that time you had personal insurance, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
How often had she seen a doctor?
I believe the last time she saw the doctor was in 2020. And I believe it was on a either annual or dual-annual checkup. I left that all to Norma to take care of.
All right, so the last time she saw a doctor was in 2020.
Yes, I believe so.
So did your wife, Norma, have the insurance card to take her to a doctor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you
Norma's
had
not
the,
his wife, they just live together.
all right, so the person you lived with, were you in a romantic relationship with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And were you all living together as boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so you left her in charge of taking care of your child?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is she the biological mother of that child?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you didn't give her your insurance card to take her to the doctor for emergencies?
I never was issued one. Everything was done electronic.
All right, so since 2020, you never took your child to the hospital, emergency rooms, or to see a pediatrician?
Personally, I haven't. I do not know what Norma has done.
All right, did you ever ask her, hey, she's not eating right, something's going wrong? Have you taken her to the doctor?
This will actually all happen recent, like because she got sick because of everything that happened. We took her to the hospital to Christa Santa Rosa at first. And
When was that? Was that in 2023?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm talking about before 2023. Unless, and if I'm wrong, correct me. And I won't take offense to you correcting me. It appears that this is something that was happening over time. Am I right? The fact that she's not gaining weight, she's not eating?
No, Your Honor.
Hey, Nan, I'm going to jump in there with that. It said kids with CP see a doctor much more frequently or a lot more frequently. That's when you have decent parents. This couple, I don't let the mother off either. I'm hoping she had another case. I'm hoping she got in front of a judge and got sentenced just like this fella is. But I don't know that my wife would let my kids go a couple days without eating right, without being, worried to the moon and back. Parents are supposed to pay attention to what their kids eat, and to have a 10-year-old that's not eating solid foods to go 3, 4, 5, 6 months without going to see a doctor is just, it's unexcusable. It makes you wonder what the extended family, you just start to look around the family and say how many people in this circle of saw what's going on with this kid and didn't care enough to do anything about it. I've got a coworker of mine. He has a daughter with multiple disabilities, and during COVID, the school actually taped her mask to her face because she kept pulling it off. She just simply didn't understand, and they had protests outside the school. They stopped the school from operating because of that. When this little girl stopped going to school, was there a counselor or anybody who noticed, anybody who said anything about it? This guy here is getting away with everything. He's blaming his wife or his common law wife. I'm not sure what they're called in Texas, but in Florida they're called common law wives if you're not married. But hey, KS, how are you doing tonight? KK, one of my kids with Down syndrome won't eat solids, but she eats veggies and fruits mashed up, lots of yogurt. But that's also a student that you're able to take care of, and the kid probably has parents that care for it. This is a horrible, horrible situation. And, this is the stuff that makes you wonder how judges can sleep at night. Judge Boyd didn't do anything wrong here, but she still had to hear this story. She still had to look at the evidence. So here we go back.
The way we were giving her nutrition over the time period from her birth until the time that she got sick was the same constant method.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden she gets sick and she lost the weight.
So what was her highest weight? Because this is saying that she was 27 pounds at 10. So before she started dropping all of the weight, what was her weight as a 10-year-old?
I believe it was either at 40 or 45 pounds.
So 45 pounds, and then all of a sudden she's at 27 pounds.
Yes, Sean.
So you didn't think to take her to the doctor when she dropped down to 30 pounds?
I would be at work, so when I would come home, I'd always want to try to sleep or relax just before sleeping.
All right, and how far did you go in school?
For school, I graduated from St. Philip's College.
Okay,
I got my certificates for aircraft and power plant.
all right, thank you. Any other questions, defense?
No, Your Honor.
State, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear argument. The state is opposed to the application. State?
Your Honor, this is an individual that essentially the state doesn't believe has taken responsibility. The litany of I don't knows and I'm not sure. This doesn't replace the fact that you're talking about a 10-year-old who had, as the medical facility diagnosed her with, quote, extreme prolonged malnourishment. 10-year-olds are somewhere in the range of above 70 pounds. This is a 27-pound individual who, through the defendant's own words, was fed Oreos, Kool-Aid, and milk. As if being a child wasn't a vulnerable enough position to be in the world, to be diagnosed with cerebral palsy at birth and have parents that don't take you because their insurance quote has expired and knew about first they knew about the diagnosis, but then they didn't know about the diagnosis, as they later said. The state would, of course, respectfully request that the court take all these factors into consideration, given how this person completely disregarded the health of a young girl for many years on end.
All right, defense?
This case has a certain horribleness factor, especially to me as a parent. I can't imagine not feeding your child, and this is my second sentencing on this crime in a week.
Yes.
So I didn't know that many people weren't feeding their child. In representing my client, he's basically been clueless. I've had a very difficult time getting to him to understand what he did or did not do and what he should have done or should not have done. That doesn't condone what happened to his daughter. One thing I don't understand is how she went to healthcare providers and no one noticed anything, especially on the day in which she was taken to a healthcare provider a second time, and that's when she was taken into police custody, CPS custody. Okay, and you have terminated your parental rights, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
That's it, Your Honor.
All right, one final question. So what were you eating?
I would eat out a lot.
Okay. And did your weight ever drop at normally low?
No, Your Honor.
And how much did you weigh?
Before I was at 277.
All right, so if your weight went from 277 down to 100 pounds or 90 pounds, would you go to the doctor?
I would find out what's going on, yes.
Okay. All right, the court is going to deny your application. The court will find you guilty. I understand that there may have been other issues at play here, as far as maybe the mother was in charge of taking care of your daughter and during the day-to-day. So I am taking that into consideration. I'm going to sentence you to 34 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with the complainant. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Which one? Yes, Judge.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Kennedy, I understand that you're probably hurt by what happened to your daughter. I do understand that. But children are 100% dependent upon adults. They're dependent on them to feed them. They're dependent on them to clothe them and for them to be educated. And you can't say your responsibility, I'm just outside working, somebody else is taking care of my daughter and I'm not noticing anything. You understand?
I understand, Your Honor, and I wish I did really know what was going on, like when CPS came by, my caseworker, she gave me all this paperwork
Mhm.
and I was reviewing it. It was at that moment that I understood
Okay.
the level of care that she demanded, that she needed.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, Thank you. Yes.
And we'll go ahead and jump in. Hey, folks that have showed up. 34 years, you know, it's not nearly enough. It does fall in line with what they probably should have gave them, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. You know, I just hope that child's able to find a loving home. Look, CPS never does enough. They don't have enough people to do the job. They don't have the right training. You know, for all the good people in CPS, there's people that fall short, you know, just like any other job. I don't know why. I don't know why this child fell through the crack. I know maybe San Antonio is so big that they just simply can't do it. So I got a question from the folks that watched Judge Fleischer's court today. At the end, there was some phone calls about a juvenile or adult. I got the ages 16, 17, all the way up to 19. Did they ever decide or find out how old the New York kid was? If y'all can put that in the comments. I'll say Linus was wanting to know. Linus wants to know. So for her birthday wish, let us know how old that kid was. To kind of cleanse the palate, I'm going to go ahead and throw up the drone video. For those who don't live in Florida, we've got a town called St. Augustine. The Spanish, I'm not going to say invaded, the Spanish settled St. Augustine, so we celebrate it as the oldest city. So we've got a fortress there. And earlier today, me and my wife had a chance to go out and play around with the drone, and we took this little video. I got in about 30 minutes before we started the live, so it was a real quick edit, but here's something that'll just kind of help change the tune a little bit from what we just saw. Thank you, everybody, for the compliments on that. No, Cynthia's right. The pictures don't do this fort justice. Me and my wife got there late, so we didn't do any tours or anything. But they give tours every day there. It's in the old Spanish fort. You can see, you can walk around there, and they do they do firings from the cannons. I know they do them on the weekends, and so. But it's probably the best place in St. Augustine as far as the grass getting cut. It does a really good job on that. You can't take off with a drone on property because it's federal property and it's a federal park, and so they'll get on you by that. So you have to park down the road. But Cynthia had mentioned about it being a haunted town. They have haunted tours of this at night and other places there in St. Augustine. I've got a 16-year-old daughter who loves haunted stuff, and so St. Augustine is a fun thing for there. How far away did they drag stone to build the fort? It's built out of shells. It's built out of like a mortar made out of shells. Isn't TPC Sawgrass in St. Augustine? I don't know what TPC Sawgrass is, Fozzie. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I'll look on the. It's called coquina, the shells that they use to make that. Steve, and I think they were able to get it right from there. They didn't have to haul any rocks in there. And so I'll do some better research on it. Like Cynthia said, you can spend a whole week there and never get through it. So we also have a Ripley's, believe it or not. I think it's the first one in the United States. Okay, there you go, Fozzie, a famous golf course. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, but it seems like it would be there. All right, we're gonna get to. Let's go to Judge Perkins and a sovereign citizen. That'll be a little bit easier to digest than what we just watched.
Appearance for the record, please.
Sherika Harris on behalf of Mr. Lewis, please state your name for the record.
I don't have an attorney. I'm representing myself. I articulated that at the last hearing.
Okay, I apologize.
Thank you.
All right, today is the date. Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Today is the date and time set for a hearing on the bench warrant. I'm going to enter not guilty plea on his behalf. I'm going to give him a $0 bond. Mr. Lewis, you said you were here last time. Why did you miss your date?
I actually didn't miss the date. I actually sent you a motion today to show you proof that I was actually in the hearing, and I was locked out of the hearing after an hour of waiting. As well as I sent you a motion for dismissal as well. I sent it last week. Yes, I sent it last week, but I resent it today, and I sent it in a Zoom chat as well to the prosecutor, the clerk, reporter, as well as the clerk.
I didn't get that motion, either of those motions.
Is there any way you have availability to look at the Zoom message, right? I sent it to not only your email, but the Zoom chat as well.
I need it in my email. I don't
sent it twice. I could tell you my email if you want to search it, but you should have it twice in your email. I resent it.
What's your email?
Chris, CHRISLEWIE, Midtown, that's MIDTOWN @gmail.
Chris CHRISL, right?
Yes, EWIE.
I don't have it.
Okay, I'm resending it at the moment.
I'm gonna put my email address in the chat and I'll put my email so you'll have it, and send that to me, and I'll have an opportunity to read that. I'll confirm that I'll wait to confirm that you send it to me, and I'll give you a date. The next court date is going to be a pretrial date on May the 28th, 2024 at 8:30. You need to get a copy of that to the city attorney as well.
I actually just sent it to the prosecutor as well. Daya Mason, is that her?
Yes.
Prosecutor? Yes, I did just send her attachment. If she could send me a confirmation that she received it.
Get it to her email address. So Mrs. Mason, you put your email address in the chat as well, so Mr. Lewis can get you a copy of that.
I really appreciate that.
File of that motion, those motions that it has. All right. I'm gonna wait on that. Once I confirm that you gave me that, I will recall the case. All right, let's pass that matter. All right, the gentleman on the Motorola Moto G, I asked you to unmute yourself. What's your name, please?
I'm sorry,
Motorola,
Judge, who am I sending it to?
Mr. Christopher Lewis.
Okay, thank you.
You check that email address, there's a period in there. I don't know if you put the period in there, Mr. Lewis, but I have not received it yet.
I'm not sure if you have access to your Zoom inbox, but I'm showing you screenshots as well as I attached the actual motion in the Zoom as well. If you could see.
I'm not looking at the Zoom. I can't print it out from the Zoom. I'm looking at my email address. I want it in my email address.
Well, I did send it to your court reporter. Can they print it out possibly?
They possibly can if they have it.
All right. Well, can they confirm that they did have it, that they did receive it in their Zoom inbox since they're not on the call?
Sir, did you send it to the court reporter or the clerk?
I sent it to both actually. I sent it to all the officers of the court today.
I'm gonna send you my email in the chat.
I sent him mine out. Still haven't got it. So he's doing something wrong with the email.
Oh, well, I'm not sure if the prosecutor, Ms. Mason, is still on call.
If she can forward it to me, that would be helpful.
Right, because she did receive it, and your name is attached to the same email she just confirmed that she received it with. So if she could tell me that there was an error at some, with the email, I would appreciate it.
Dia Mason, can you forward the email from Chris Lewis to me, please?
I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
So let's go back on the record with Mr. Christopher Lewis. I have received this motion, and I read the first couple of lines of it, and that I'm not concerned necessarily about the March 18th incident. I don't know what happened on that day, but you are here now, so we'll move forward.
Excuse me, sir. I heard you say that you only read the first couple lines. Is there any way we could possibly take another case until you get the chance to read the entire thing? It's only 2 pages.
I'm not going to read this entire thing today.
It's only like 3 paragraphs, the entire thing. The rest are just case sightings.
I'm gonna deny the motion. I will set the matter for.
Is there any way I can get a written? Can I get a written articulation as to why you're denying the motion?
I'm denying the motion, because
I would just appreciate a written excuse. Can I get a written articulation?
I might give it to you in writing.
Are we on record? Are we on record?
We're on record.
Okay. Is this court bound by the U.S. Constitution and Supreme Court rulings?
Yes.
Okay, you were denying my motion when I said that I had Fourth Amendment violations, and you're saying that you're denying my motion without looking into it or granting me a hearing to go over my motion, or give me an articulation as to why, a written excuse as to why. I want to make sure that that's what you're saying to me.
You're asking for a change of venue. I'm denying.
I'm saying that I know there's a motion for dismissal, and I'm saying that you, as an Article I judge under the Commerce Clause, if you're not going to uphold my due process and my Fourth Amendment, I'm saying that maybe we could change venues where I could get a real judge.
Okay, I'm denying a motion to dismiss. Okay, I'll set a trial date for you so you can be heard on that type of form.
I insist that the court give me a written excuse as to why you're denying my motion, so I could take that to the tenor. Okay.
Well, you can insist all you want to.
Okay, I appreciate that, but I'm telling you, you're telling me today why you're not going to look into it or give me a hearing. That's so I can go over the evidence that I have to present to go with my motion. You don't want to do any of that, so I'm just asking that you can give me a written excuse that I could go take and complain against you on. Because that's violating my due process. You didn't even give me the chance to say we're going to schedule a evidentiary hearing or something like that. You're going to sit up here and disregard that when I made genuine claims and put genuine evidence in there, overwhelming. So at the end of the day, like I said, there's no crime. This is a fraudulent charge. There's no suspect. Y'all suspecting for no crime. There's no victim, no losses. Okay. and in a minute, it's going to be malicious prosecution. So I'm asking you to dismiss this charge or change the venue. And if you refuse to do that, I'm asking you for a written excuse so I can take it to the tenor, sir. That's what I'm telling you. Because if not, I'm gonna go to the tenor without it and let them know that you refuse to give me a written excuse and you refuse to give me an evidentiary hearing, but you just straight denied it. When you just 5 minutes ago, you said you didn't even read it. Now you just denied it. That's conflict of interest. That's bias. That's all that. So let's put it all on record. If you feel just as strongly as you feel, give me a written excuse. If not, let's change venue. Because you're an Article I judge under the Commerce Clause. This conflict of interest, you only here to make money, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no crime.
Wait a
Ain't no
minute. I'm
victim
not
or
your
no
man.
loss, bro.
I'm not your, listen, I'm not your man.
Look,
I'm not
sir.
your bro.
Hey, sir,
Okay.
respectfully, you're an Article I judge under the Commerce Clause. You've been on the bench since what, 21? Couple years? You need to talk to somebody. I'm asking you to give me an evidentiary hearing to go over my motion for dismissal with the overwhelming evidence or change venue. Because if not, I'm going straight to the tenor right after this. And that's on you, sir. You had this. You did this.
Oh, all right. Now I'll let you speak.
Straight like that.
No, that's all we need. I don't want to hear any more
All right,
from
cool.
you.
It's cool.
You made
I appreciate
your record.
this due process this a due process violation. This is a due process violation right now. And the way y'all tried to railroad me when I was ready to argue my trial. I told you I was here to argue my trial. Y'all locked me out. Now you're trying to start the process over. They're not prepared to present a case. I'm telling you. They're not prepared to present an injured party, sir. What we doing?
Listen. Please do not say any more. You've already made your record. I've given you that opportunity. If you continue on, especially interrupting me while I'm talking, because I didn't interrupt you while you were talking. I'm not your bro, I'm not your man, and I'm not to be interrupted when I'm speaking. I gave you the respect and the right to speak. Just because you're unsatisfied with the way that I ruled, then that's not my problem. You take whatever. Wait a minute. Let me say it. You take whatever recourse that you feel that is necessary. Now, what I can do, Mr. Lewis, is I can set you a jury trial date. And at that jury trial date, you will have an opportunity to represent yourself or do whatever you want to do and put all your proofs on the record by a jury of your peers, and you can argue it that way, okay?
I appreciate that, but I was still like a written.
You order the transcript. You order the transcript. It's in the transcript. You asked me to read the couple of paragraphs that you made. Most of the paragraphs was referencing the incident on March 18th, as you and I'm not even debating or disputing it. I said I'm not concerned about March 18th or any missed date. I said that the most of what you're saying is in the it's not I'm not even going to hold you to that, but in paragraph 2. Moreover, I want to emphasize that the initial charge against me in this court is fraudulent. I don't know that to be the case. That's why I'm giving you an opportunity to have a jury trial, and they can make the determination. Neither the complaining witness or the prosecution is prepared at any point of this case to present an injured party or any reported damages / losses. So it becomes abundantly clear that every proceeding taking place is strictly an attempt to seek funds where there is no crime and not seek real justice. So we are giving you real justice, because if you say that there's been no crime, then you have a right to a trial. And that's what I'm giving you. So I was assaulted, detained, and my property illegally searched and seized with no suspicion of crime at the hands of the complaining witness, Joshua Martin, and assisting officers. I do not consent to these fraudulent proceedings and demand that the court dismiss the charge immediately with the appropriate remedies. And I'm dismissing the motion based on that, because I am giving you a proper forum to argue your case, or allow me the right to change the proper venue of federal court where my U.S. constitutional rights will be upheld and not disregarded by Article 1 judge under the Commerce Clause. I don't understand that of the United States Constitution. Indicating a clear conflict of interest, I do not wish to proceed with this matter. You don't have to proceed any further because I'm dismissing the case. He did cite some case law. It was at Sherrar v. Cullen, 481 Federal 2nd 945. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party, corpus delicti. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed on one because of the U.S. constitutional right. 211 U.S. 149 South 29 S period court CT 42. Any tribunal court finds absence of proof of jurisdiction over a person or subject matter, the case must be dismissed. The accuser bears the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. All right, so I'm dismissing the motion. All right, so you want a trial date? Give me a jury trial date, please, Ms. Memphis. And you can get a copy of that.
That looks like Tokyo joined us.
Hey, how you doing, AC?
Doing good. Doing
Can you
good.
hear me?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been able to bring on here. How are you doing, Tokyo?
Doing okay. Another day at work.
Wonderful.
Nothing to do until 3 o'clock.
All right, you're about to be done with that job. On to the next one, correct?
That's right. Thank goodness.
Okay. Anybody who doesn't recognize this face on here, this is Tokyo Gaijin. He's got
right.
He's got a YouTube channel. He does Fleischer on Fleischer. When's your next
That's
one?
right. Premiere is Friday night at what time I said? 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Will be premiere of episode 8.
Okay. Would that be? Is it 8:30 Eastern time in US?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8:30 Eastern. It's gonna be 9:30 p.m. Local time here.
Okay.
Same day, Friday.
How long
Yeah.
will it take you to get used to that time difference?
Oh, it takes a long time to get used to it.
Hey,
Yeah. The clocks are about to change too, right? Camera's drifting. Hold on.
Yeah, my clock stays the same. My clock is correct all the time. Yep.
There is an echo, but I think it's just the room.
Okay. Yeah, there's an.
Let me close the stream on YouTube though.
All right. Is there a link for Tokyo's channel? There is in my Discord, Cynthia. He's got a channel there. He's got where he posts his videos, and he also posts them in latest videos. But I'll also send you another link also for that channel.
Awesome.
We'll see if we can't spread some love with it. You pretty much focus on Judge Fleischer's court, or
yeah, it's part of my gimmick. I mean, my last name is Fleischer. It's spelled differently though, but it's part of my gimmick. So yeah, mainly the programming is focused on Judge Fleischer.
Okay, and you were able to get Judge Fleischer on over the weekend, weren't you?
He came in the chat, and we had a little bit of fun, and then trying to get him on the show whenever I can find the time, and time is convenient for him. Time difference is wonky, so I don't want to run into his personal time or his court time or things like that. So
tell him he's just gonna have to get up in the middle of the night to do your show.
I don't want to do that to him.
No. Okay, and so tomorrow morning you're gonna do a show when it's gonna show.
Yeah, it's a premiere. It'll be a premiere.
Okay, so it's
so I won't
pre-recorded episode, but you're gonna be in the chats with everybody.
Yeah, I timed it so when I come home from work, I got a little bit to sit down and eat something and be on time for it and hang out with all of you guys.
All right. Well, I've got a silly question because I've never been outside the U.S. There in Tokyo, are you predominantly around other Americans, or are you predominantly around local people?
Not where I live. There's very few foreigners in general out here, unless they're Asian, like Chinese, Koreans. But even then, they're very few and far between out here. I don't live in the city proper itself. I live in Tokyo Prefecture, out in the kind of like the boondocks. So not a lot of foreigners will come out from this far or come out to this place. When I go downtown, oh, we're all over. Now, when I go to church on Sundays, that's actually a church for the military base that's across the street. So, of course, it's all English speaking, a lot of Americans, very few Japanese people, it's full church. But that's when I'm usually around foreigners the most, is when I go to church. Otherwise, I'm in society, as they say.
Okay. Well, I won't ask you your opinion of the locals. I'd love to know about how well do they speak the Japanese that you speak.
What do you mean? Oh, the foreigners, the other locals?
Right, and what I mean by that is I took Spanish in high school, and I can speak
Right.
Spanish like someone who wasn't around anyone that was Spanish.
Ah, okay. Well, no, the local Japanese people, they understand my Japanese. It's primarily where I learned my language about, what is this year, 2024? About 22 years ago, I was out in central Japan to learn Japanese, and it was an all Japanese run school by Japanese people. So I actually learned the Japanese, not the Japanese that you would learn at like an American college or something.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna put in the chat. We still have more. We still have more court to get to.
Nice.
And so yeah, I deleted 350 something videos, and I'm working on putting them back in. And as I get to work and putting them back in, it's, your videos become like your little children. Some are better looking than others, some you like better than others, but all of them are your children. And as I go through some of these videos, I'm like, yeah, I want to play that one. I want to show that one. Because there's folks that have just come into the court watching the game not too long ago, so that they're missing some. And some of these are a mess. Some of these folks, you get to see it every day, so you start to forget about the older ones, and then you get reminded about how crazy the older ones are.
Right.
And so, no,
I feel that. I feel that.
Dane Piglet coming in. We got Sivo girls here. Hey, Sivo girl, and Amanda Panda.
Hey, Sivo.
And so
Amanda.
We're getting everybody. Oh heck, we even got a Fozzie. Hey, Fozzie. He doesn't get to hear that enough. Well, what living in Tokyo, or without getting political, what do you have for Americans, from your experience over in Tokyo?
You broke up for just a second. Can you say that again?
Without getting political, what advice do you have for Americans who, from your time over in Tokyo, what do you miss the most from America, and what do you think we take for granted the most?
We take everything for granted in the States. And I mean absolutely everything. The freedoms we have, the food. I'm a big foodie. But that's another video. The laws, and I see all the police videos, I see all the auditor videos about all the bad eggs that are out there, but none of them really hold a candle to the Japanese police. And my advice would be,
I'm going to ask you that real quick. We talked the other day, and you were driving. If you get pulled over for driving with a phone, what's the penalty in China or in Japan?
There's two different things that they would do. They would see if the phone was up on a mount, which mine was. If it's on a mount, there's nothing they can do about it, because for some reason, I've seen people with huge iPads on their dashboard driving. Whiz right past patrolling cops, nothing. But it's probably a hefty fine or a slap on the wrist. It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not as bad as it should be.
Okay, yeah, in here in the U.S., every state's got their own different laws and everything's got some different. I was in Georgia, and I think I was trying to figure out Instagram, and I was talking with my wife, and we're trying to go through something there, and I looked over, and a motorcycle police officer was riding along watching the same Instagram video I was, and so that didn't work
That's
out.
not good.
No, and
Yeah.
I'd actually I got to the point I was getting a smaller phone, that way there's less chances of falling into that bad habit.
Right.
In the end, you don't ever know how bad it is until you get in an accident, hurt somebody, or hurt yourself, and so. But it's certainly bad. Back in the days of Blackberries, I was guilty of it really bad. Driving and texting back then. I guess that just showed how old I am. Back in the BlackBerry days.
Oh, man. I remember texting. This was still about 22 years ago on an old, one of those old Nokia phones. Texting my then girlfriend who lived in Hiroshima, and she was able to send me text. We were able to send text back and forth, and back when the police never even heard of texting in the first place. I'm driving along and getting a message from her. I love you, babe. Da, 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 on the 10 key. So we're spoiled today. So like I said, we're spoiled, but we're also more patrolled than we should. We should have been more patrolled back then anyway, but they didn't know. Unfortunately, accidents make the rule.
Of what we just made by
I don't know why it's
going through the proper channels of the court to get the
I tried to get your face smaller and get us out of Judge Perkins' face there, so
oh, it's all good. I was vested in this one when he tried to send his motions, and he's like, I didn't get anything. Well, I sent it to you. I didn't get anything. Nobody got anything. It's there. Dismiss the case.
Yeah. That guy's a mess. All right. It says my son was given a Japanese flag by a local young man there. There is a significance behind a gifted flag to an American. Absolutely. That's awesome, Cynthia.
Yes.
Fozzie's saying that you can have a phone. You can be on a phone, just not in a school zone in Texas. So they really are the Lone Star State. And so
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get back into this. I tend to get boring after about 3 seconds, so I'm gonna jump back into this video.
No, it's fine.
Stay with it through.
We'll comment on it. Yeah, we'll comment on it together.
That'll work.
Of what we just made by going through the proper channels of the court to get the court reporter to produce that record.
I can't even get the court reporter to respond to my voice messages or you to respond to my emails, sir.
The court is not going to respond to your voice message. The court reporter is going to respond to you coming down.
The 36th district told me to call her today, that I was locked out of my trial date. I had a scheduled trial. The court told me to call her that day, and I called her that day, and she still hasn't responded. So I'm trying to see if the court that you work for is trying to tell me how the appropriate channels, and then y'all doing it different in y'all court. What am I to do?
I think you're talking about the court clerk and not the court reporter. There's a distinct.
Yeah, I was told to call the clerk the day that I was locked out. The moment I was locked out.
We've moved past that getting locked out.
But that was my trial date.
Yeah, so I'm giving you
another. How soon can I get another trial date, sir? How soon can I get another trial date? That's what I'm asking.
That's what we're trying to do now. A jury trial. A jury trial. I'm gonna let the jury of his peers hear what he has to say.
It looks like it's going to be July the 23rd.
Before you say that again, Ms. Mathis, just verify it before you say it. Please, the dates.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I know, but you're thinking out loud.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Good day.
Yes.
July 23rd, 2024 at 9 a.m.
July 23rd.
Yeah, 2024 at 9 a.m. We'll have a final pretrial the day before.
Why would we need a final pretrial? Why would we need a final pretrial?
Because I said I wanted one.
But that's how you protecting your interest. You protecting your interest, and you're gonna dismiss it on that day. So you're trying to play with me. You could dismiss it today.
God.
You literally, look, you literally, bro,
The
violating
final
my due process.
pre-trial, 8:30.
Miss-
You are
Miss
literally
Mason,
violating my due process. You can't even give me a written excuse, but you want all this whole.
Mr. Lewis, I know you don't want counsel, but is it
he
possible
needs
we
it
could talk in a
bad.
breakout
He
real
doesn't have
quick?
a clue
Excuse me,
what he's
ma'am. I
talking
do.
about.
Excuse me, ma'am. I am in pro se.
Go to
I'm in pro
judicial
se.
tenure, go wherever you want to. Final pre-trial
I am.
July
It's all good.
22nd, and
I am.
trial date is going to be July 23rd. All the parties must appear on the final pre-trial date, and the jury, and that can be on Zoom. And the next day, the jury trial date is in person. Have a very good day, Mr. Green. Best of luck to you.
That's not my name.
I don't know. Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry. Have a very good day. Best of luck to you. All right, let's go move on.
I get like that. I get aggravated enough. I start calling people by different names, or just, I call it, my brain starts glitching, and I just start saying stuff. So I can see where that judge gets it from. I think what I love about Judge Perkins is he just looks like the guy you want to be the principal and the guy you don't want to get in a fight with at the bar.
Right.
And so,
I see that.
Yeah, but I'm just he's more patient with him than he should be. But then whenever he gets done, he is done. And so we're going to jump over to Thurston County. I really think that's about. Yep. I really think Thurston County is about my favorite one to watch. And so, but first I want to make sure to thank all the moderators. Today is Lena's birthday, or it was at midnight her time, and so make sure to thank all the moderators. We got a Linktree link at the top. Cynthia had mentioned getting stuck in TikTok land. I love TikTok land. I've got we just reached 10,000 followers in TikTok. And that's the number needed to get monetized there. So I'm trying that route to see if I can't get on the TikTok train. We're just putting the little short hearings.
Nice.
And
happy birthday to Linus.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday to you.
Absolutely. And for all the ones that say she didn't deserve her birthday, we think she did. We think she did. She does.
Who's saying that?
Who's saying that? Hold on a second. There was somebody up here. Was it Fozzie? No, Fozzie's a fan. There was somebody here. Maybe it was Jay that was saying she didn't deserve to be able to celebrate a birthday yet. I think she said she wanted to wait for it to be the 22nd in the U.S. for her to celebrate a birthday.
That's all in good fun.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to jump in Thurston
As long
County.
as it's not a hater.
Yep, we got another PPO one. This one is just a weirdo, a young guy that just simply... He's a young guy that just don't get it, and you can by the look of his, you can tell by the way he's got his hair fixed that he's a creep. So we're gonna go to that one.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rosso. Hello.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So you're Tyler Jared, is it?
I am.
Okay. What's your date of birth, sir? Okay. You had a mailing address at 64. Any good?
It is.
Oh, good. All right. So you're charged with this allegation. State's prosecutor is charged with an allegation of violation of an anti-harassment protection order alleged to have occurred on February 18th of 2024. And that carries a maximum possible sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. And this is your first hearing, and that's, kind of to tell you what you're charged with, what the maximum possible sentence might be, to make some decisions from your point of view of whether the court should appoint counsel, or if you're going to hire someone, or you're going to represent yourself. Where are you on that issue?
I'm pretty clear where I'm at on that. I'm going to represent myself.
Okay. And that's your right, and we'll talk about that for later hearings. If at any point you think you might want to hire an attorney, nothing's preventing you from doing that. If at any point you want the court to consider appointing counsel, we just ask for a little bit more information to make those decisions about indigency. So nothing, everything is still open as we go forward. And as you represent yourself, as long as you make that clear to the prosecuting attorney, and there hasn't been anybody that's made what we call a notice of appearance on your behalf, you can talk to them about your case and advocate on your own behalf as your own lawyer, all right? Okay. So for now, what I'm going to do today is hear from Ms. Mann. Let's see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put her under oath, and I'm going to hear, are there facts sufficient, a very basic finding called probable cause for the court to consider setting any release conditions. My first question though to Ms. Mann, are you asking the court to set any release conditions other than to return to court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let me put you under oath, Ms. Mann. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information will provide to the court as to probable cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, so what do you got?
On February 18th, 2024, Deputy Lynch was dispatched to a reported protection order violation on Entree View Drive in Olympia. The reporting party, who is the protected party of an anti-harassment order, stated that the restrained party had driven by his home at 9:18 a.m. and that he had footage of it. The officer confirmed the protection order and that the restrained party was Mr. Tyler Rosso. Under the anti-harassment order, the respondent is restrained from entering or being within 500 feet of distance of the petitioner's residence. The roadway in question was easily within 500 feet of the residence. The reporting party's footage showed a black Ford Ranger, which the protected party knew to belong to Mr. Russo. The protected party stated that Mr. Russo had driven a Mazda 3 in front of the residence at times prior. Mr. Russo owns both vehicles and displays them on his YouTube channel called Dashing Diary, which also matches the DOL photo for Mr. Russo, and both vehicles are present in those videos. The reporting and those videos show a black Ford Ranger and a silver Mazda 3. The reporting party's security video showed a black Ford Ranger driving by his house and shows the driver turning their head to look at the protected party's residence, but a license is difficult to make out in the footage. There's also footage of the Mazda 3 from 11/11/23 with the same distinctive back end damage as the defendant's gray Mazda 3, which also drove by the reported party's address. The officer drove to Mr. Russo's address, saw that both vehicles in the footage were present, and Mr. Russo was also present at the residence. When asked by the officer about the vehicles, the defendant paused for a long moment before stating that he'd let his brother drive that morning, and when asked what his brother's name was, also paused for a long moment again, and then refused to provide his brother's name to the officer.
And where is this contact alleged to have occurred?
On Entree View Drive in Olympia, Your Honor.
All right, and what order is alleged to have been violated?
Yes, Your Honor. It's not visible on the current page on JABS. It's under Tyler G. Rosso, which we'd ask the court to add to his current JABS page, and I can give you the number if you'd like to look it up.
Well, who issued it? Can you help me understand what court?
I believe it should have been ours. I'm sorry, let me grab it specifically. It's a civil anti-harassment order.
It was out of the Thurston County District Court?
Let me make absolutely sure before I tell you that.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like it was out of Thurston, Your Honor.
Okay, and it was issued when?
3/21/22.
All right, and service on Mr. Rosso of that notice?
I like when it was served.
Right, have to prove some basis of knowledge.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's not present in the police report.
Okay, so I can't find probable cause because part of violating a restraining order, anti-harassment, or any kind of protection order requires that the person alleged to have done that had knowledge of those provisions, and usually that's one way of proving it is certainly.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the docket for the harassment order. It says it was served. Oh, sorry, I just had it. It said it was served on the docket. I'm looking for the exact date. On 4/06/22.
And this is alleged to have occurred February of 2024. What was the length of this order? And did it expire? Or has it?
It's still active according to JABS, Your Honor.
Pardon?
It's still active according to JABS, Your Honor.
Well, as to the order itself, let's see. I can get it up here.
And it looks like the motion to renew it was granted in March 20th, 2023.
Okay, so there was a renewal March 20th of 2023 and the provisions continue because that's the March 2023 order is what you're alleging was violated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so the provisions in that order also continued to be within 500 feet of the residence?
According to the police report, Your Honor.
And again, the protected party in this order, they identified the vehicle? Did they identify the driver?
They did not, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Rosso, at this stage, I'm not finding probable cause. I have the authority, though, even without that, to order you back to court. I'm going to set a pretrial, and order you back to court, and you'll have that court date.
Yeah.
So we're just going to look for that court date.
Sure. Let's try to do something in June if you guys don't mind. I'm kind of
That's
busy.
a little late. I have to do it a
You're not
lot
gonna go-
sooner than that, but we're
You're not
looking
gonna go
at
for that? Okay.
May 7th. May 7th is a Tuesday
Is it?
at 10. May 7th, Tuesday, 10 a.m.
You got anything after that?
Well, I've got to appreciate speedy trial rights, and that's why I can't set
yeah,
it too
but-
much farther out.
Yeah, but Judge Wilcox, that's another thing. I'm gonna definitely waive my right to a speedy trial. A vehicle's not enough for probable cause. I already know that this is an easy win. And so you guys are gonna waste my time and stuff.
I can't accept your speedy trial waiver just
Okay.
orally like this. And we
Okay.
would have to do a pretty long discussion, and I
Okay.
want you to always
gonna-
talk about that on May 7th.
And ma'am,
But
are you gonna
I
let me
suggest-
plead? I haven't plead not guilty yet. Are you gonna let me plead? It's an arraignment, right?
Entering a plea and not guilty
Thank you.
preserves all of your rights.
Thank you. You never asked
So
me,
then-
so I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's on the record, not guilty. We're
Okay.
back May 7th at 10.
Yeah.
We can talk about all sorts of things
Yeah.
at that day. We can talk
Yeah.
about waivers of speedy trial. We can talk about trial dates. We can talk about motions,
To dismiss?
all sorts of things.
Sure.
But just kind of a heads up for pretrial, what can happen there, just so you can anticipate and plan is, if you have evidentiary motions, if there's something that you think the court should consider as to the potential evidence,
Yeah.
you got to get that filed in writing and served on the prosecutor. Now,
Yeah.
at pretrial, we can talk about that. We're going to set some trial dates so that you know kind of the outside number dates, but we would need to get that in writing, served on the prosecutor, and then we have another hearing and everyone has a chance to be heard, and then the court makes a decision. You have as well, discovery is something, what that is all the information that the prosecutor has that they expect to use against you. You have the right to that, but you have to actively put it to writing and ask for it, for
Yeah.
them to give it to you.
Okay.
You still have the right to represent yourself. You still have the right to be represented. So keep that in
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
And just, have you ever represented yourself in
I
a
have
court?
before. Yeah,
Okay,
I
in a
have.
criminal case?
Not that I'm aware of, but the reason why I'm going to represent myself is because I don't feel it's in my best interest to have a public defender that works for the state represent me as I'm being persecuted, in my eyes, wrongfully from the state. That's why I'm going to
Well-
represent myself.
You can always hire a private counsel too, and what I have to go through is just to make sure, and you're probably gonna hear this a few times, so
Sure.
be patient, but
Sure.
do you have any legal training, paralegal training?
No, but I don't feel like I need to because I feel like it's in the court's best interest to provide more than vehicles driving by somewhere. I don't feel I'm even gonna need it. That's just my honest
Okay.
opinion, so I'm telling you the truth.
All right, I have to be sure just to kind of go over with you to remind you that
Yeah.
that you have the right to represent yourself, but if you represent yourself without legal training, what you're up
Yeah.
against is a prosecuting attorney who's gone through law school,
Sure.
has been allowed by the Supreme Court to practice, so their ethics have been evaluated. They have continuing legal education training every year that they have to go to get their keep their license. And
Sure.
like
Tokyo, you calling?
No, I'm pointing up because I agree with the judge 100% on this.
No, absolutely. This judge is a good judge. It took me a while to warm up to her at first because she's just kind of quiet, but she definitely gets a hold of them. And I think what's funny about this whole county is, you know, the harassers and the stalkers and stuff are mean about it. You know, in Florida we have a lot more craziness going on. Over here, you know, you have stupid behavior and still, you know, stalking behavior, but they're not, you know, they're not knocking people's doors in like they do in Florida. You're not having the just outright craziness.
Right. And, you know, I'm all for exercising your constitutional rights to defend yourself. But as the judge is saying right now, and as I said on my live stream before, you're going up against a judge and a prosecutor. They're going to run circles around you before you even say Your Honor in your opening statement. But if you're confident that you can win something, even though you don't have access to half the things that authorized lawyers do, have at it. It's your right.
No, absolutely. And I think people that try to represent themselves, if nothing else, they just bog up the system. You should have to put up a bond if you're going to represent yourself. That way, if your case, you know,
Right.
a case and then now it takes a week, you know, they've got their money back from it. You know, you have the right to defend yourself,
Exactly.
but it's going to cost you. And so,
Yep. That's
and
right.
so,
I
all right,
agree with that.
we're going to run up this one. It's getting past my bedtime, so I got to finish this one up.
they've got experience practicing in the criminal courts.
Sure.
And so when you represent yourself, you could be at a disadvantage. And the reason being is the court cannot intercede on your behalf any more than the court could intercede on the behalf of the state. And so, you know, you're in court, maybe you're making a motion or objection and you keep getting shut down by the judge. And you're like, why? Well, the court can't, you know, can assess and tell you what the basis of the ruling is, but can't help you. And it's very frustrating. And a lawyer kind of knows all the court rules, all the evidence rules, knows the law, knows how to find the law, knows how to, you know, do things that you may not know. And it can be quite frustrating and detrimental to you to represent yourself sometimes. So just a heads up. And I want you to keep that in mind as we go, because you're facing a crime that, you know, if proven at trial, could bring a jail sentence. So heads up. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Just keep that in mind. Then we will be back, what did I say, May 7th at 10 o'clock. And we'll take things up then.
Okay.
Would you like a text message reminder of the next court date?
Let's do it. Let's do both if you can.
We can.
Maybe a mailer and a text.
Okay.
I figured I'd pause it right there. That way everybody can just look at him for a little while. Trying to think.
He obviously wants the attention.
He loves that camera. Yeah, I've never met someone that loves that camera so much. I'm trying to look and see who made the comment. Someone had made a comment about he's trying to schedule court like he would a timeshare. Trying to look for who put that so I can give him the credit for it.
I think that was Omni.
No, I wouldn't give you credit for it. I got to find somebody in here.
No, I think it's Omnicast.
Okay, so same timeshare.
I think.
What's that? Yeah, Omnicast.
Yeah,
there you go.
that sounded.
Omnicast. Thank you for that great comment. That was a good one there because that's exactly what he's trying to do here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get us out of here with showing that drone video again. I like watching those videos, and there's maybe some people in here that hadn't seen it. For those who hadn't seen it, I took some little video of St. Augustine this evening, and so I'm gonna show it again, and then we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everybody so much for coming by. Thank you Tokyo for stopping in.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun, and I'll actually get out of here so I can see that video without my sound echoing over it.
Okay, all right, and we'll see everybody else tomorrow. See you there at 8:30 in the morning for Eastern time.
Yes, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on my channel. I'll drop like put that in the back of youtube.com. I just sent it in the chat there. That's my channel. So
All right, yeah, Fozzie had put it up
it's
also.
open there.
So much Fozzie for posting it. And if you can't find it, stop by my Discord. Tokyo's got Discord. Turn off your notifications in the middle of the night because he's notifying everybody at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, mute your phones.
Yeah, absolutely. Mute your phones at night. Yep. Right there, Steve. He never dated in school. Sister went to prom with him. All right. We're gonna go out with that video. You guys have a great night and enjoy St. Augustine.
Take care, everybody. Thanks, AC, for having me on.
All right, bye.